Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and excuse my appearance because my room is going to be painted soon, and I don't have any posters on the wall, so I had to do a different angle so you guys could see something, so you don't see a blank wall. But anyway, welcome back to Rotten Tomatoes month. Tonight I'm going to review a 2002 sci-fi action film that ended the Star Trek franchise, not in the best note, but hey, even though this movie didn't do as well as some of the other movies, at least this movie is better than Solo. And it's an underrated movie from 2002. No, it's not Attack of the Clones because that's Star Wars, and I reviewed it already. It got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's low. I don't understand it. And it's Star Trek Nemesis. Yeah, this was directed by Stuart Baird or Beard or whatever. He's a British director. He only did three films that he directed, and this was his last. But he also edited a lot of movies that were really good. He edited the original Superman with Christopher Reeve. He edited Lethal Weapon and Casino Royale, the first Bond movie with Daniel Craig. So the guy has some talent. It's definitely a different from the other Star Trek movies. I'll say it is a step up from Insurrection. Insurrection was the most boring of all of the Next Generation movies. That movie just pisses me off because it had the pacing of a snail. This one is a lot faster pace. There's a lot more action in it. It interested me. It has some good ideas that, guess what? This franchise, this, yeah, you know what Ryan Johnson stole from? This freaking movie. There are four scenes in this movie that he stole from, and I'm gonna pinpoint all four of them right away. First, there's a scene in this movie that one of the scenes. This is randomly though. I'm not gonna say it in chronological order. One of the scenes, the villain played by Tom Hardy. He's a bald headed villain that basically his face is starting to like swell up, and he's it's like black streams of veins are coming on his face. It looks like he's turning into Venom, and he has blind eyes, and he has a psychic connection with one of the female leads. Yeah, Ryan Johnson, you freaking stole that. Remember when the hobo and Kylo Ren are having a connection? You stole it from this freaking movie. Another scene is, remember the scene in the Last Jedi when they go into light speed. I haven't seen the film, but I did see clips and I know about what happens. So you don't have to tell me that the ship goes into hyperspace and it cuts a ship in half or whatever. That's the same scene in this movie where um, the Enterprise is flying in space and it goes through Tom Hardy's ship and it cuts right through it. Again, you stole from this freaking movie. Also, the flying Leia scene was in this movie first, where Data's jumping into space and he and in the green sky, and he's jumping into the next ship. And I'm like, again, you stole from it. And then there's one more scene that they stole from. There was a lot of Star Wars references in this movie, but mostly from the prequels. They say Federation and there's a Viceroy, but that doesn't bother me. And here I'm like, I see where Ryan Johnson got his ideas from. He stole it from Star Trek Nemesis. And that's pretty low of you, buddy. Stuart Baird, at least he went on to edit some stuff that's better than anything you've done. You should have edited your movie in half. And there was another scene. I know there was another scene that was stolen in The Last Jedi. I know there was. It wasn't Luke milking that cow or whatever the hell that was. It wasn't the scene with Finn. No, no. Oh yeah. What was it? I forgot. Well, anyway, it'll come back to me. Anyway, this movie starts off, Marina Sirtis' character and Jonathan Frakes, they get married, and Jean-Luc Picard, played by Patrick Stewart, is giving them, a send off, saying, I hope you two will be happy. May you have many more years together, and cheers. And Data sings a song. Oh yeah, that's the scene that they stole from the beginning of the movie where they're in this freaking planet or whatever. It looks like the casino scene from The Last Jedi, and also when Data's singing, it's a little bit weird, and it's a scene that could have went on too long, and that's basically the Last Jedi's casino scene is that, but for like 30 minutes instead of 3 minutes. Like with Data, he sings for like a minute. So yeah, you see, every idea comes from something else, but guess what? When you steal from a Star Trek movie, shame on you. And this was not J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. This was before Abrams uh, rebooted it. So I'm not blaming him. I'm going to blame that RJ because he's a dumbass. Stealing from this freaking movie. This movie cost over $60 million. It made about 67. Disappointed, but I still like this movie despite the flaws. At least this film has an original story. It's not copying other things I've seen. Yeah, it's similar to Star Trek 2, but Into Darkness is the same thing. So even. But anyway, yeah, the characters are fine in the movie. I think Tom Hardy's a little bit uneven as the villain. That's one problem I have with the film because sometimes he's like they're trying to keep his face in shadow so you don't know who he is, and I'm like, I know who you are, dude. I checked the cast list. And then when he's talking, half the time he's either yelling a little bit too much, or his acting's just inconsistent. Half the time he sounds drunk. I think Tom Hardy probably was, probably the whole time when he was doing this movie, he probably forgot he even did this movie because 10 years later he did Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. So yeah, that will make you forget. But anyway, there's a sex scene in this movie that hasn't happened since the Abrams movies. I think there's a sex scene in Into Darkness, and also a brief sexuality in the 2009 movie. But basically, they're trying to consummate their marriage, Marina Sirtis and Jonathan Frakes, and she sees Tom Hardy's face, and I'm like, after seeing the Venom trailer, I don't blame you, Marina Sirtis. I do not blame you at all. And see, I didn't mention that they're British. I did not mention that because I know you guys were kind of looking for that, but I'm like, no, that doesn't bother me because Patrick Stewart is a Brit, but he can act. That's what this movie has. I'd rather watch this than The Last Jedi or Solo any day. Because as flawed as it is, it's not 2.5 hours. It's an hour and 50 something minutes. It's long, but it's long enough to not piss me off. The pacing is pretty good. The action sequences are well done. The special effects look freaking amazing compared to the bullshit in Rogue One or in Last Failure or freaking Brolo. Yeah, it's better. The effects look way better. There's no CGI faces or CGI creatures or CGI people or CGI freaking backgrounds. No, it's in space, so it looks really good. I think Stuart Baird did a good job with shooting the freaking movie. And like I said, the special effects, the spaceships look good, the space scenes look good. There's a land machine that they're riding in. It reminded me of The Force Awakens, but I'm like, you know what? This movie did it so much better. It's flawed, yes, it is, but it knows what it is. This was the fourth Next Generation movie. There was no way it was going to be as good as Wrath of Khan or Search for Spock or The Journey Home or the Voyage Home or Undiscovered Country or even the Abrams movies and of course Beyond, which I think is the best one of that. But it tried. It was not as boring as Insurrection. And unlike Brolo, the desert scenes where the movie's so dark and trailer that I couldn't see anything. Here, when they're riding in the freaking land machine, Data and Captain Jean-Luc Picard, I can see what's going on. The film is well lit. It's not a dark freaking gritty look, desert like in other freaking movies that I've seen. And yeah, the movie is entertaining for what it is. I don't hate this movie. I know the critics did. I know some of the actors are not a fan. LeVar Burton said that the director didn't know what he was doing. He never saw an episode of the show. But I'm like, this was the last Star Trek movie until the 2009 film. I was fine with it. It went out with a bang. There's a sacrifice at the end of the movie, which is a lot better than anything they could have done in Rogue One or Episode 7 or 8 or whatever. And it doesn't come out of nowhere. They say resistance is futile. That's from the show. You have the characters. You got that kick-ass score from the show. Jerry Goldsmith did the music. This score is better than any score we've heard in Disney Wars for the last 3 years. Honest to God. Rest in peace, Jerry Goldsmith. I miss your freaking music and movies. You did some of the greatest musical scores ever in science fiction because you did Alien, you did the Star Trek movies. I think he did Total Recall, the original, not that remake that I haven't seen yet. But yeah, he did a good job with the score. It actually brings gravitas and tension and freaking atmosphere. We don't get that with Disney Wars now. It's just generic score, or let's steal a score from the original and insert it into a scene that has no freaking bearing on the scene. Yeah, it has no freaking bearing. It's just let's steal it and let's just incorporate it and remix it. It feels like a remix instead of its own thing. But anyway, this is not a Star Wars movie. This is a Star Trek movie. I've been more into these films now than the recent Disney Wars catastrophes because that's going to get rebooted after Episode 9. Here, it got rebooted. The 2009 movie is flawed by J.J. Abrams, but at least it did its own thing. It didn't remake freaking the motion picture from the 70s. And this movie doesn't. It's fine. It's not horrible. Like I think the film is the probably the second best of the Next Generation movies. The first is First Contact. I love that movie. I think it's an awesome movie. It's a Star Trek movie through and through. It's got the best action, and it's the cream of the crop of the Next Generation movies. Generations pisses me off because they kill off Kirk, and that's not cool. And Insurrection was boring. That came out the same time as a year before the Phantom Menace, and I'm like, God, this movie sucks so bad. But at least this one, Nemesis, didn't bother me. It's not for everyone, but after seeing Rogue One boring me to death, and after seeing Episode 7 recopy things that were done better in the past, this is not. This is looking like the first Star Trek movie in comparison. It really is, and it's short. You don't need to make a sci-fi movie 2.5 hours. It could be done in 2 hours or less. Do it. Don't freaking drag the movie down. I was never bored with this movie. There's some talking scenes with the Vulcans in the beginning, the Romulans. It kind of goes. It's a little slow, but when it picks up, it really does pick up really well. The action's well done. I could see what's going on. There's no stupid lens flares. There's no shaking the camera, jerking off to the freaking special effects. No, it's done really, really well. And the film, I say, if you haven't seen this, see it. If you hated Brolo, if you hated Rogue One like I did, see this movie instead. It's way shorter and it's a better investment of your time. And despite its flaws, I can have fun with it. I saw it once before on TV, edited for TV, and I still liked it. And I saw it again, and I'm like, it's decent. It's not horrible. It's not the disaster that everybody said it was. And a 38% is too low. It is. This deserves at least a 60. It's not great, but compared to what I saw in this decade, it's a masterpiece. It really is. This movie, I'd rather see it than freaking Rogue One. That movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes. It bored me to death. I hated the characters. Here, I like the characters from the Next Generation show. All of them. Geordi and freaking Worf and Data and freaking what was his name? The commander, played by Jonathan Frakes. I forgot, but they're good characters. They're not SJWs. They're not preaching to people. They just want people to have fun, and I have fun with Star Trek Nemesis. As bad as some of the movies were in 2002, there were some stinkers. This was not the worst movie of that year. Oh God, no. There were way worse sci-fi movies that year and way worse action films. And also, it's right up there for me with Attack of the Clones. It gets so much hate, but there are way worse movies, and there are more pandering sequels that do everything wrong. This movie didn't do everything wrong. It made some mistakes. The villain is uneven. Like I said, some of the talking scenes in the beginning are kind of slow, and it's not as good as First Contact, but it's not as boring as Insurrection. And I like these movies. I'm not a Trekkie, but I'm a casual Star Trek fan. I like these films. They have space exploration. They put agendas to the side. They make the women beautiful, for the most part. The makeup effects of the creatures look great. The Viceroy, that makeup looks just as good as the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It's practical. It looks real. It looks great. You can't tell me CGI faces in Rogue One look better. They look horrible. They look like a video game. Here, I like what I see. I would get this on DVD or Blu-ray because I can respect it for trying more than what freaking Lucas did the last 3 years, pandering SJW's agendas in space with hobos and freaking soldiers that could be played by a man and freaking LGBTQ character like or whatever, and freaking SJW robots. I mean, it's done. Just give it up. You're not going to be better than the originals, and you're not going to be better than some of these Star Trek movies. These are actually good, most of them. I don't care for Insurrection, Generations, and I had some problems in Into Darkness, and 5 is a little bit uneven, but at least I get something out of them. and they never pander. Once, slightly and beyond, but it was a short scene. It didn't go on for 5 minutes. But anyway, Nemesis is a decent movie. If you didn't see it, watch it. I don't hate it. I can't say I hate it because I hate when a movie bores me to death. That's when I hate it. That's when I show my venom, like I did when I saw Power Rangers. That was horrible. That hurts me as a fan of that franchise. Here, last Star Trek movie for the Next Generation cast, I'm fine with it. It went in a new direction and it didn't fail. It didn't fall on his face like others did. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Excuse my room. I'm not going to have posters on the wall for a while until July. So my room's going to get painted. It's going to look great. Going to have new posters on the wall. I hope you guys keep watching my videos. I took a break because I needed a break. I've been so much stress from the spring. At least it's summer now, so welcome to summer, guys. May the good times roll in the second half of the year. Ant-Man and Wasp is in 2 weeks. I'm going to go see it. Mission Impossible is a few weeks later. We got a 6 Sharknado movie. We got the Meg. We got a lot of stuff to see. So, and I've been enjoying Cloak and Dagger as well. So I'm looking forward to what 2018 second half has to offer me because the first half was, oh my God, it was freaking intense. But hey, better times are coming around the corner. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I'll upload another video soon and I won't take like 5 days off. So, but anyway, pardon my appearance, renovations have to be done and my room is going to have a new essence once it's painted in a nice color that expresses my personality. So see you guys in the next one.